And we're back.
Welcome back to Misscliks Dungeon World. ANNArchy. ANNArchy.
Because Anna is the DM. Get it, guys?
Anyways, so we've introduced our characters. We have the paladin, Seraphina. We have the bard, Cordelia. We have the wizard, Barnacle. And Willow, aka Big Boy, the 13-year-old fighter. Big boy. Oh my gosh. So we've introduced the characters. Now you guys know a little bit about each other. So now it's time for us to start thinking about why you guys are at all interested in each other, why you're traveling together, what you're trying to accomplish. So the best place for us to start doing that is looking at our bonds. And on each of your character sheets, there's a place right under bonds where it's a fill in the blanks kind of situation. For example, I'm looking at the bard, and you have, this is not my first adventure with blank. I sang stories of blank long before I ever met them in person, blah, blah, blah. So you kind of get to define your fellow characters. Would you guys like to start so you get to decide the bonds, or would you rather that our other experienced players do bonds first and you kind of play off those?
I know my bond.
Okay, let's start with you then.
So I'm actually following Seraphina and pretending to be really interested in her religion and then, you know, BSing along the way that I'm trying to learn from her. But really, I want to find out where the Temple of Spec Person III is, so I can steal the jeweled eye of Spec Person III. It's actually like a crystal in the shape of the letter I.
Oh,
and it's kept under lock and key
of Spec
he
Person
refuses
III.
to use it.
Okay, hold on. I need to write this down. The crystal eye of Spec Person III.
But should I unleash this eye, Spec Person III would lose all power because he would have to refer to himself not in the third person.
Wow. Oh, because it's an eye. I get it. I totally didn't get it, and now I do. Because you're really, really clever. Okay. The third. Okay, awesome. And so then the bond is that Seraphina is keeping an important secret from me?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Okay, so see, you have underneath your bonds on your character sheet in that PDF, you have specific ones that you fill in names.
Do I have to do all three of them?
I think we can just do one.
You don't have to do them if you don't want to. You can have just one. That's fine.
Okay, also Willow is woefully misinformed about the world, and I must teach them all that I can.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to put these in your character sheet. Or
I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to assume that because you're 13.
Yes, that's So I'm going to add your bonds. Let's see. What did you say? Seraphina is keeping a secret. And Willow is uninformed and needs to be taught. Cool.
Willow disagrees with this.
Of course you do. You're 13.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. Then, alright, those are your two bonds. Who wants to go next with their bonds?
I can go next.
Okay, Jen, Big Boy. Big Boy, tell me about your bonds.
Yeah! So Cordelia owes me their life, whether they had
Really? Is that so?
Ooh, what happened? Why does Cordelia owe you her life?
I think
How did a 13-year-old boy ever save my life when I couldn't save my own life?
Let's probably be real here. Didn't, if I'm honest, but my character.
Big Boy thinks he did.
Your character thinks you saved my life.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What happened? Cordelia, do you know what Big Boy is talking about? Why Big Boy thinks that he saved your life?
I'm not sure, but in my mind, I'm convinced the Big Boy is like in his own little world and has created this kind of, you know, his parents had such an influence over his life, and they were controlling every aspect of his life. So as soon as he set out on his own, he kind of created this like fantasy scenario for himself, where like, oh, I saved the pretty maiden and I did whatever.
Yeah.
So he thinks that I owe him my life, and I know better, but I am playing along because I know that he's very fragile.
He's a fragile child. So maybe like when he first encountered you, you were like talking to someone in a bar and he thought you were being threatened and kind of like put himself in between, and he thought that he, like, saved
and then
your
I just
life.
kind of like, I'm, you know, and I'm a nice enough person, and I like people to experience new things, and this was the first time he had ever like rescued a fair maiden from vigilante. So you know, I let him believe that.
Okay.
I'm really proud of this accomplishment. I feel like I actually already have defeated a worthy opponent by saving her.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so to explain bonds a little bit as we go for you new players, what bonds will do then is as soon as they become resolved, you get to gain XP, 1 XP. So, for example, since Big Boy thinks that he saved your life, Cordelia, that means that either when Big Boy becomes convinced that actually he did not save your life, or when you admit that Big Boy did save your life, then or if you do something to repay the favor, anything that kind of makes this not an issue anymore, then Big Boy gets experience and can choose a new bond. So for example, if Barnacle steals the crystal eye of Spec Person the Third, that bond is obviously resolved. Or if you decide that that crystal eye is something you don't want anymore, you can also resolve that bond. If you can tell me why for some reason that's been a closed chapter in your life. So, Big Boy, tell us a little bit more. Willow, Big Boy, tell us a little bit more about your bonds. What's the second one?
I have sworn to protect Serafina.
Ooh, why?
My character thought that she was a strong warrior, so he decided that he should help her in her quest and protect her if something were to happen.
So a little bit like a Padawan, like a protege.
Yeah, because she seems like more of a fighting type of character, a little bit more like him, so...
So you're protecting her only in the sense that, like, you don't feel like you're stronger than her, but you feel like you want to be, like, associated with her.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What
Not
about
like
the
the +1 aura of greatness.
Okay. All right. What about the third one? You have a lot of bonds. It's good.
Oh yeah, I did one of each. I worry about the ability of Cordelia to survive in the dungeon.
Oh, well, that makes sense because you already saved her life.
Yeah, I think she needs more help.
Okay.
So can I just kind of play along with this notion and be like, yeah, Big Boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you so much for rescuing me there. Oh, I couldn't have done it without you. Oh.
Yeah, except for that, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, because I want him to feel inspired. Like, I want to encourage him in his endeavors, you know?
But it's actually stopping me from gaining experience.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I thought I was helping
because
you. Am I not helping you?
whether she admits it or not, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what would resolve that bond is if she changes her opinion about it, her real true opinion.
Yeah.
So at the end, we'll check in and we'll see, does Cordelia actually feel like you saved? No? Okay.
Oh, so I would actually have to feel as though Big Boy saved my life.
But you don't have to, though, is the thing. You may never believe that, and so what may happen to resolve that bond is that Big Boy has to get over his delusion. So maybe so if you're playing along, maybe that makes it more difficult for Big Boy to resolve his delusion.
Okay.
It's fine. I like that to play along, it's funny.
Okay. And then your last one?
Barnacle is soft, but I will make them hard like me.
Wow! Barnacle with this tiny...
We will resolve this by curing your misunderstanding there.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically my character is a fighter, and to Big Boy, Barnacle seems like the least fighter type of character in our party, because he's like using magic, like what the hell is magic? Big Boy doesn't understand magic.
Okay.
He doesn't know anything about it, really.
So, in order to resolve that...
It exists. He's like, what? That's for babies, like magic.
Right.
Like Santa, right?
Like...
I'm way too old for this shit.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah,
gotcha.
of course you are, Big Boy.
Okay, so again, the way that would be resolved then is if Barnacle actually does become more hard thanks to Big Boy, or if Big Boy sees that actually Barnacle is hard enough as she
hard
is.
AF, actually.
Yeah.
Can we stop using the word hard enough? Like, can we not say that? That's we're talking about 13-year-old.
Are you not hard right now?
I mean, he's a 13-year-old boy. He's always hard. I guarantee it.
I mean, but he doesn't think that Barnacle is hard enough. So, anyways, I'm just reading the GM rules. Yeah. So, anyways, great bonds, Jeff. Well done. Well done, Willow, aka Willie, aka Big Boy, which is just a really hilarious coincidence that your name is Willie and Big Boy. The bond is about being hard. So, thank you for that, Adam Coble. Really appreciate you.
I didn't pick Willow. This just came together. They just came together.
Oh
It
my
really
God,
it's a
it came.
confluence of Jen and Robert, our
Yes.
designer, who chose the name, and Adam, who designed the game. It's just a perfect
And
confluence.
Jen's pervy little mind.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay, so we've got those bonds. We've got Seraphina.
Mine go very well with
Okay,
Willow's.
Seraphina, tell me about your bonds.
So I'm gonna do Willow last. So I respect the beliefs of Barnacle, but I hope they will someday see the true way, which goes very well with the fact that she is pandering to my
What
religious
beliefs do you
views.
respect about Barnacle? Like about magic? You respect
Yes,
magic?
I respect
But you-
magic.
You respect that she practices magic, but you hope that eventually she'll see that it's not magic, but the true worship of Spec Person the Third
Mhm.
that leads to salvation.
Correct.
Okay.
Cordelia is a brave soul. I have much to learn from her.
Okay. Why do you think she's so brave?
She's just seen a lot, and she's so fragile, but yet somehow she survived.
Hey!
You're just small. I mean, I'm like big. You're
a
small.
tank.
I'm big.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I'm like,
That's fair.
my HP is 26.
Yeah.
And then Willow, I have 2 bonds for Willow, but I've made them into one.
Okay, hold on though. I want to finish the Cordelia one because I want to make
sorry.
sure I understand how we would resolve it.
Oh, you're right.
Cordelia is a brave soul. She's seen so much, and you're like, wow, I would like to learn something from her. So maybe what you want to learn is a sense of worldliness, or you want to travel with her.
I think it actually what it is like her. I want to learn to be bold like her.
Mm.
So like
Yes,
I would
yeah.
never sing a song in front of an audience.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
and then okay.
True
yeah,
story. Everyone who knows me on Misscliks. So this would be fun.
So you feel really confident in your warrior strength,
Yes.
but you see her and you're like, I just wish that
I could
I
be a
was-
little weird sometimes.
I was a little more brave, as like I could be more myself.
Yes.
Is that it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm into that.
And
Alright,
then-
and Willow.
Willow has stood by me in battle and can be trusted completely is the first part of the bond.
Mm-hmm.
The second bond, which goes perfectly, but his misguided behavior endangers his very soul.
Okay, that
So,
totally makes sense with the story we've
does.
done so far. So, as far as the bond, Willow has stood by me in battle and can be trusted completely. Are we saying?
We fought together before.
Okay, so in what situation did you fight before?
We were in a war, not a war, we were in a small battle in a neighboring village who needed some extra fighters to help defend against an evil creature.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
we met, and I trust Willow,
Okay.
despite the fact that he is a little misguided.
So you see this potential in Willow, but you're like, man, if he doesn't start worshiping Spec Person the Third, he's gonna waste.
It's all
his
about that,
potential.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
all about the third.
Gotcha. All right. So then now we just need the bonds of what? Cordelia.
Cordelia. So I have a question. So I don't fully understand bonds. Under the on the character sheets, under the bond section for the bard, it says fill in the name of one of your companions and at least one. So am I actually limited, like all of my bonds to every single other character in this campaign have to be one of these options? Like I can't just make up my own?
Well, this is a really flexible game. So if you feel like there's a
Oh,
bond
okay.
that you really want to put in there, just put it out there. And if it fits kind of with one of these, we'll maybe make it into that. And if not, we can just write a new bond for you. That's totally fine.
Okay. Because I don't feel some of these. I don't feel like they would really fit with my character.
Okay, that's fine. So what
But-
bond do you want to have?
Well, okay. I would say that. Well, I almost feel like can my bond with every character be the same, or is that lame?
It makes it a little bit tougher because at the end of what we do at the end of the session is we kind of say, okay, Willow, do you feel like Cordelia actually taught you something? And then we assign XP or say that the bond will keep going. So if it's like, did you sing a song about everyone? Then it's kind of going to be, so maybe pick like at least 2 different ones.
Okay. I'll individualize them a little bit. I just feel like, okay, so Willow.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though Willow is in constant danger. He
Mm.
thinks he knows what he's doing, but he has never had the chance to explore the real world, and he doesn't actually know what it's like. And he thinks he knows what he's doing, but he's not prepared for the real world at all. So I just want to take him under my wing, and I want to keep him safe. And if at the end of the day I'm able to either protect him from some danger, forewarn him against something, or just protect him in some way, kind of teach him a valuable life lesson, then I feel like that bond will be fulfilled.
Okay. So how about this? Just because we want to make sure that it's in line with being a bard, right? And performing and singing songs. So let's say that you've decided that you are writing a ballad about the adventures of Willow. So you've taken him under your wing because you're like, oh, I see, you could be such a great adventurer and I could tell tales of you for eons to come, right? But you're trying to write this song and you're seeing that like, oh crap, this guy's like, he's really in need of my protection and my nurturing. So maybe that's the form that it takes, is like you're writing this song, but because you're writing the song, you're trying to make sure that you like push him in the way that you think he should go and make sure that he doesn't get hurt while he's doing these adventurous deeds. Does that sound good?
Yeah, so I'm trying to inspire him to do adventurous acts, but I'm also kind of keeping a watchful eye over him.
Okay.
And I'm kind of making sure that, you know, if he needs me to, I will, you know, sing him a healing chorus or something.
Okay. I like that. That's great. All right, what's your second one?
And then with Barnacle and Seraphina.
Okay.
Is it, I mean, can I have a similar outlook to both of them? Like,
maybe just tell me what you're thinking and we'll specialize them.
What I'm thinking is, like, I think they're both great, but I would love to be able to kind of expand their worldview and push them outside of their comfort bounds and make them experience new things that they have not yet done. Because I think they're both great people, but they just haven't done a lot yet.
Okay. Let's see. So
you don't like that at all.
Me? No, I do. I'm fine with it. I'm thinking about how we can make it bardish. So
that's her thinking face, not her mad face.
Yeah, no.
Don't worry.
I have a natural frown.
I thought that was her. Jess, you're a dumbass.
No.
I don't have one of those faces, just for future reference.
That's true.
I'm kind of a dumbass.
Yeah, I don't have a you're a dumbass face. Just, you know, for future, you know, I know a lot of people when you see my face on stream. It's not okay, so you want to spur these people to do adventurous things and like expand their world.
I feel like they're like boring. They're living within their own comfort zone. They're not challenging themselves in any way. They're just like, yeah, I wear tattered clothing because I'm Barnacle, you know?
Gotcha. Okay, so
and I'm just like, hey, explore different things.
Since you're a bard, you're kind of a creative, you know, and you're pretty smart, right? So you're constantly just kind of like, your mind moves really quick.
Yes.
Does that spur you to tease one of them very often or say things behind their back just to kind of like joke around with yourself about them?
Yeah.
Which one?
Not in a mean-spirited way, but I'm always like, man, that Seraphina, she needs to fucking loosen up.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And I would never say that to her face because like, you do you, Seraphina. But like honestly, if I'm being honest, I think Seraphina needs to loosen up just a little bit.
Okay, gotcha.
She's not open to new experiences.
Gotcha. So Seraphina is often secretly the butt of your jokes.
Yes.
But the way that you're going to resolve that is as soon as you can kind of convince yourself that like, wow, she's actually really expanded her worldview and she's figured things out, then that's how you would resolve that bond and you wouldn't want to make fun of her anymore.
Right. Like as soon as like the minute I see her like letting loose on anything, I would say, okay, you know what? She is willing to keep an open mind. So
okay. And you also want Barnacle to expand their worldview.
Right.
And Barnacle, did Barnacle ever tell you anything that Barnacle hasn't?
Barnacle's playing dumb here in this group.
Yeah?
So I'm maybe being a little like less than my nasty self, so I can get what I want from these people. So.
Okay. Well, because one of the bonds that you could have as a bard is that someone trusted you with a secret. So maybe Barnacle told you something about herself that makes you think like, wow, Barnacle really needs to get this figured out and like really needs to expand their worldview. Is there anything that Barnacle may have told you that makes you be like, dude, Barnacle needs to like get her stuff together?
Yeah, well, I would say so. Like when I'm like, Blank is a good and faithful person. I trust them implicitly. I would say that about Barnacle. Like I do trust her. I do trust Barnacle.
Gotcha.
But I also that doesn't mean that I like everything about her. I just I trust her.
Gotcha.
I trust Barnacle, which is maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should not trust Barnacle, but I do for whatever reason.
You know who you should
Because
trust?
I think she's open to adventure. I can trust Big Boy. Do you think?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Great.
Okay, so we've got for you, just adding these in roll 20. Okay, so you're writing a song about Willow while protecting and nurturing him. Barnacle is a good and faithful person that you trust implicitly, even though sometimes you don't like him that much, but you trust. And then Seraphina is often secretly kind of the butt of your jokes because she just really doesn't have it figured out. Is that right? Okay.
That's right. Yeah, sounds good.
So knowing those things about each other, let's talk about the world that you're in before we talk about how you met. The world that you're in, are you in a really heavily populated city type area? Are you in more of kind of a wilderness type of environment? Where do you guys see yourselves?
We're definitely in an area with giant animals.
It does look like that. This giant horse has just appeared. I don't know who possibly could have put a giant horse in roll 20 because no one in this group actually has any affinity for horses that pervades all of her role-playing games. But
glows in the dark for horse.
That horse is amazing.
It holds all four of us.
either you guys are tiny or that horse is giant. Either one.
Can we all ride on this?
A lot of us are pretty
Can we
small.
all ride on one singular horse?
That's how large the animals are in the world. The domestic kind animals are at this
domestic
size.
animals, why are they so big? Did they just appear this big, or were they like genetically engineered to be giant?
This is a magical world, so they have been.
So they appeared this big.
Yes.
So, because you mentioned only like kind domestic animals, like good friendly animals are giant, is there some magic in the world that makes size of animal directly related to like passivity?
That's the only way that it would work in this situation, so I'm gonna go ahead and say
yes.
Yeah, like if you're evil and you're an animal, you're normal size. But if you're
really small.
you're not
Honey badgers, very tiny.
Yeah. It doesn't make you as small as it does big. So like if you're really kind, you're really big. If you're really evil, you're smaller.
You hear that,
You're
big
not
boy?
It does not apply to
humanoids.
Yeah.
So like a slow loris would be really big, and a bear might be really small. A slow loris, they're like really
Slow loris, they're so cute.
They're like grabbing.
I have no idea what that is. A sloth?
This is interesting though.
It's similar to a sloth, yeah.
I mean, obviously there are some monsters. There are big monsters in this world too. What created big monsters? Like, how did those particular animals or creatures become giant or intimidating as well? Because they can't all be tiny, right? Like, how did you meet a bear that was evil and tried to eat you?
Maybe they have colors of dispel magic.
Maybe, how about this? I think maybe this is what happened. There was this farmer who had delusions of being a wizard,
Farmer
right?
Joe.
And
he started doing these like weird experiments.
Yeah, and what happened was he just cast this weird spell that then genetically it actually affected the animals' reproductive systems as well. And so he accidentally blew up all of his farm animals and they reproduced. So all over this town specifically, you just have giant livestock and like farm animals or pets. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So passive, pet, or domestic or farm animals are giant. All right, that's crazy. So
Can there be a multitude of bears, at least around our city?
is there a bear problem? Is that what's
I think
happening?
we have a bear problem.
A bear problem?
Okay. What do you think?
Okay, like
caused the bear
are the
problem?
bears? Oh, well, first of all, like, can you describe the nature of the bear problem? Like, are the bears like attacking people, or are they just like?
I think they're trying to go against the livestock.
Oh, okay.
So they're attacking the livestock.
So the fact that we have this giant abundance of livestock has attracted too many bears to the area, and they're becoming too courageous. Like they're coming into
too aggressive.
stuff. Aggressive, right?
They seem
Aggressive
to be
bears.
plotting even.
Like
they're
normally
going to
bears
bear
kind of
revenge.
keep to themselves, but then when you have this giant cow, the bear gets really hungry.
Right. Exactly. And they're like trying to fight over. Okay, so is that causing any problems with the economy or anything, or is it just like people's safety that we're worried about?
Well, both. Because for the farmers, their livestock constantly, they have to either come up with new creative solutions to defend their livestock from the bears, or they just have to take their loss of, okay, well, bears ate 4 of my cows this week,
Right.
And that's their livelihood. So it's both an economic and a personal safety issue.
Okay.
Yes.
So is there any ruling body that is like offering any kind of motivation for people to deal with the bear problem?
Yes. And I think that's why we all banded together, right?
That could be.
Because
this sounds like kind of a farming region. Like there's probably a big city not too far away, but this is kind of the outskirts where, a lot of the farming goes on. So there's a lot of space between neighbors, but there's probably like a lord of this area who kind of owns all of the land, and then the farmers pay him rent to use the land and like, share their profits with him and stuff. Who is this lord, and is it a lady or a man, or what do they look like?
I think it's a man with like really like poofy sleeves.
Okay.
He doesn't exactly know what he's doing, but he's really excited about being in control of
Lord in control.
Lord in control.
Totally.
It
It makes sense.
Yeah. So Lord in control wears these poofy sleeves.
Yeah.
Really like that.
And he's really excited about like all his cows and stuff, but he's really bummed about this issue. But he also, at the same time, he doesn't know what to do about it.
Okay, so he's...
So I think that's
He's
what we all
offering reward for someone who can solve the issue.
So
Yeah.
the demeanor of Lord in control sounds like he's just like this really enthusiastic but helpless lord, where he's just like, oh,
Yeah.
ugh.
He's a kind-hearted soul in the end,
Okay.
but he has no idea how to solve the bear crisis.
So he's like a little bit of kind of an impotent ruler.
A
is what you're-
little bit.
Okay.
He means well. His people
Really, Anna?
You know what he needs?
Cold-blooded.
He needs a lady.
Oh,
He does.
he feels
He
feels
thinks a
like...
lady could give him.
He feels inadequate. He
Is
feels
that
like
something
he's
he
missing
feels, or
his
that the
better
people
half.
feel? Does he feel that, or
He
does
Does
feels
he have an
like
heir?
his better half.
Okay. Oh, does he? I don't know.
Not
Does
yet.
he have an heir? Okay,
Right?
no heir. And so he's really worried. Like maybe that's part of the reason he can't deal with this, because he just can't even, because he's
He
so
cannot
worried that he
Yeah.
doesn't have a lady,
Fiancés in this
and he needs to produce an heir, and he just can't think about anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. No heir, needs lady. Is he interested in anyone particularly?
Willow.
No. Wow.
Not on this one.
Is Willow
Too
related
young.
to him? Is
Willow's
that why
too
he's
young.
rich? Is Willow like his cousin?
I might be. his
Willow,
younger
let's
cousin.
remind everyone that Willow is a 13-year-old boy.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into any
Wow.
sort
I
of...
stand by my guess.
No, that's why I immediately disregarded that and said Willow.
Regardless of gender, Willow is 13 years old.
Yes.
Willow is not going to be getting with the Lord in control, okay?
Nope.
Aw.
Let's please not go
But
there.
maybe he thinks he doesn't. Okay, Willow
No.
doesn't know who
He
his
respects
Maybe
him.
Willow is in love with Lord in control, but that is not going to happen because Willow is 13, and that's great.
Willow doesn't know who his
Right.
father is and thinks it might be Lord in control, but it's
Oh,
fake.
okay. Okay.
Okay, so Willow's
You
father
wish
might be
it
Lord
would
in
be.
control.
He's like, I'm clearly the son of the Lord.
Cloud not ready to be on stream.
He was telling me cat secrets.
Okay, so
Sorry.
Lord in control isn't interested in any ladies from, surrounding countries or anything like that, just like freaking out because there's no ladies around and he's just freaking out. Is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, there's not a specific woman that he's interested in. He just he really feels like he needs to, settle down and make some babies and
Okay.
figure his shit out.
And so he's
Parents
just
are
like,
putting pressure on him, maybe.
right, and he just can't even with the
He
bear
can't even.
issue. He's just
No, this is just too much.
He's like, I've worked
He's
on my
just like,
poopy
I've got my
sleeves all
personal
morning.
life going on, and I've
Yeah.
got my bear life going on, and
I've
I
got to
don't
maintain my fashion to attract the ladies.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Great
All right.
fashion.
Okay, so
Actually, I'd like to also have poofy sleeves to kind
okay,
of
so you
hide.
model yourself a lot
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
Lord in Control. Is
Well,
there
that makes
anything-
sense. He's like the ruling leader of the
Yeah.
land, so you obviously would fashion yourself after him.
Right. Are there any other
Just-
styles that Lord in Control is known for that people like to emulate that like shows their high class?
He's got some
hairstyle.
culottes that he's really into.
Culottes. Awesome.
Some
Culottes.
Culottes.
like
Jen,
shorts.
culottes
And
are
he
like
pairs
shorts,
that with a
they
sort of
look like
medieval
a skirt.
croc.
Croc? Like shoes?
He really likes to be comfortable.
Okay, Crocs.
He
Awesome.
Medieval Crocs,
Yeah.
specifically.
I feel like
Chainmail crocs.
Are
he
they like
appreciates-
actually shaped like crocodiles?
yes,
Okay.
which is very comfortable for him. He appreciates comfort above all else.
Mm-hmm.
He's not
But-
into fashion.
But he like makes
Down
it
to earth person.
okay.
He makes it work. He makes it work because he's royalties.
Well,
like
and he's the royalty, so everyone thinks that's fashion.
Yeah.
exactly because that's how fashion works. Like he.
What about
And
hairstyles?
they live in a backwards farming town.
Yeah, that's true. Hats or hairstyles, anything that people wear that look, that show that they're into like the king's or the lord's hairstyle.
Does he have a beard? I think he has a beard.
A long
And I
one or a
think
short
I'm
one?
trying to grow one, but I can't, so I'm really upset.
Okay. So Lord in Control has a super long and styled beard, like with
Yeah.
like
How many braids does his beard have?
I think it's very full. What were
With a
you-
lot of braids, right? Oh no,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like my character has a lot of braids in her hair, and I feel as though she drew inspiration from Lord in
Totally.
Control.
Yes,
Totally.
That's why she has so many like random braids. Because
Yeah.
obviously I can't grow a beard, but braids are considered fashionable because
Totally.
Lord in Control made them so. I feel as though he might have like 4 braids in his beard.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
I think you're right. I think four braids over the top of a large bushy beard.
Yeah.
So braids are super in. Even like the giant horses, people like to braid their tails with four
Yes,
braids.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Braids are like really in.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like,
Are you looking at the?
I'm desperately trying to grow a beard, so I have like three hair on my on my
Do you
chin.
tie a little bow around one of them to make it look like it's a braid?
I try. It doesn't
Okay.
even work. I'm
not
really,
working.
really sad
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we've got the bear problem. Lord in Control is offering a reward for someone to deal with it because he just can't. What kind of reward is he offering? Is it gold or like a position or an appointment to his court? It could be just gold. Do you guys need gold? Is that what it is?
No, well, because Willow gets all his money from his parents. Willow
Right.
does not eat any gold. Cordelia prides herself on being a very self-sufficient bard who, she is not monetarily driven. She is driven by, the arts and by adventure and everything.
It
I
sounds
want to
like
know how he
maybe-
turned the
I
animal.
want recognition. That's what I want.
You wanted to know, Barnacle, how he turned the animals large? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I want his spell that he used.
Okay, so Lord in Control has the spell, knows the spell that turned the animals large. And he said he will give it to you if you deal with the bear problem?
No, it's just a way to get into his castle so I can
Ah,
find out. He's not willing to give that up.
so
But I need the horses because the eye of Spec Person III is actually 22 feet tall and 3 feet wide. So.
gotcha. Okay, I'll write that down. 22 feet tall,
Thanks,
3
Jen.
feet
Fantastic.
wide. And so it sounds like what actually Lord in Control is offering is he's going to throw a party at his castle, his mansion, and whoever kills 2 bears gets an invitation to the ball, and where in the castle the spell is kept. So you're hoping that if you can get an invitation to the ball, you can go get that spell. So it sounds like Barnacle really is the one who has this huge motivation to kill bears. Do the rest of you just want to go to this ball, or are you kind of following Willow? Because I know that Seraphina wants to influence Barnacle for the good, and I know that Willow wants to follow Seraphina around and learn from him, and I know that Cordelia wants to write a song about Willow. So you guys could kind of all be on this errand because Barnacle wants to kill the bears.
I also
Willow-
protect
Willow
the good,
Jackson there.
and the bears are evil. So
Right.
I
Can
will.
I also Oh,
I just want to kill them to help.
Dire bears.
and I want to
Dire
defeat
bears.
Dire
They are
bears.
dire bears.
Totally.
And I want to defeat a worthy opponent, and I have this glowing anti-bear hammer, so it just feels right. It feels like life has set me on this path to destroy bears.
Ooh, do you feel like you might be the chosen one for
I
this
might be the
moment?
chosen- I'm probably the chosen one.
You probably are in
And
your
I'm probably
mind.
the son of
Yeah. So do you maybe think this is a message that Lord in Control is sending you personally?
Yes, I think he probably left the hammer to my mother,
Mm-hmm.
and she gave it to me, and this is how he wants me to reach him back.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's probably the one giving the money to my mom. I don't know how she's making all this money, really.
So, why is it so difficult to deal with these bears? I mean, are they hard to find? Are they really hard to kill? Is there any specific weakness they have or something that makes dealing with them expensive?
I guess
'Cause
people
they're
don't
dire
know where
bears.
they're at.
Yeah, do they hide? Do they have some sort of like
do they attract or do they attack humans, or are they only going after livestock? Like, how big of an issue is this?
I don't know. You tell me. How big of an issue is it? I mean, how many people have died?
Personally, I would say it's probably just an economic issue. They are attacking livestock, but they kind of tend to shy away from humans.
Okay, so maybe they don't like
So it's not like a dire threat. We're not personally, I'm not scared of the bears, but I know that if we don't get the situation under control, then the economy will be in shambles.
'Cause it's
So
getting
it's kinda like-
uncontrollable.
it's kind of like a moose. Like when you meet a moose in the wild, it might charge you, but only because it's scared. It's not gonna like come looking for you and kill you.
Right.
Okay.
So, like, the bears, like, if you corner one of these bears, you know, they will defend themselves. But the bears are not actively seeking out, like, humans, you know?
So
we don't have to be concerned about our personal safety.
It's probably
Okay.
why we didn't find where they're staying at yet.
Okay,
Because
so
they just
there's
run away when you see them.
there's been some stories of people dying because of bear attacks, but it's only people who kind of go out looking for them, or maybe somebody
People
was
who
out-
were dumb, basically.
yeah, who was like out
Or
playing in the
gossip.
woods at night or something like that, or like maybe one bear was crazy and had rabies and it got somebody. But like overall, they just kind of keep to where? Where do they keep to?
I think they're
Like
in the
the
woods,
forest.
kind of on the edge of the town, but they're getting really bold because the big animals are really easy to kill.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, like, they live in the forest, but the breeding of these giant animals has kind of drawn them out. You know, they smell the large cows and they get hungry, and, you know, resources get depleted in a forest because they've, you know, deer have been overhunted and everything. So,
Right.
I think some of the bears have been eating more than others, especially the bigger livestock. So we're scared that they're getting bigger.
They
Yeah.
might be actually like growing.
They're picking up some of that biggin magic. And also, this has been going on for
Oh.
like 6 generations of bears now, because he was born
Oh.
with that bear hammer, right? So
Somehow they're getting that DNA, right? Maybe
Yeah.
they like there was some interbreeding or something that happened, and some of the bears got enlarged. Okay, what's the forest called where they live that kind of surrounds this area?
uh,
The what?
for Beartown.
The Bear Town. Okay, people are colloquially like calling it Bear Town because they're
Well-
like the forest. You mean Bear Town?
Yeah.
Because there's so many bears out there.
Well, it originally was called Forest Dunlap.
Ah,
But no-
Dunlap
but-
Forest.
Dunlap Forest, but nobody calls it that anymore because it is, you know, everyone
Right.
refers to it by its like casual name. So people, like, that's how people can tell you're new to town, is when you're like, oh, do you want to go for a walk in Forest Dunlap?
Mm-hmm.
And then
You're
someone's
like,
like,
"You mean
you mean
Beartown?"
Beartown? God, are you fucking new to town? Or
It's
that's
like
not-
how like nobody in San Francisco calls it San Fran. They only call it SF. Like
Yes.
if you say San Fran, you know you're not from SF.
that's how, or like,
Yeah,
that's exactly
Okay.
what it is. Yeah.
totally. All right, so Beartown is probably not well known. Like people don't really go into Beartown very much. They may like walk paths along like the edge of Beartown, but it's definitely wilds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Rachel rides
So-
on the head of the horse.
Well, so Cordelia though feels like, hey, let's go to Beartown. You know, what's the worst that could happen? We're not gonna.
Okay. So, is there anything else about this world that I should know? It sounds like the main problem is these bears, that you guys are kind of banded together and you're going to go look for some bears. Is there anything else on your mind that's kind of, you know, bothering you or that you're wanting along this time, along this mission that you're going to look for bears?
I like money, shiny things, so I'm gonna grab
Okay.
any of that I see.
Okay, so you're also out for like personal gain.
Oh yeah.
I just like
24/7.
and I
Okay.
like forcing other people to have adventures that they normally wouldn't have.
Okay.
I want recognition. I want people to understand that I'm the one that they should follow.
So I'm kind of backing Big Boy on that because I feel like if he gets his recognition, that'll be like a new adventure that he's exploring.
Okay. Great.
I just
it
want the
sounds-
world to be good. So
Okay. And, you know, all praise and glory to
Spec Person the Third. Right.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're actually at about the hour mark, so this is a good time to take a break, make sure that I know the HP points of bears and giant bears, and then we will be back.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned. BRB.